Some political perspective every Tuesday by 11 a.m. on our 102.7 FM. Examine national issues, analyze government policy, and break down political events. Beyond the archive, this is not noise. It is insight, context, and informed conversation. Political perspective on IPA 102.7 FM, where facts meet analysis.
Very beautiful morning out there, and welcome to another edition of Political Perspective on your darling station IPA 102.7 FM. Very beautiful morning, and of course welcome to another educating edition of Political Perspective on your darling station IPA 102.7 FM, the program where we take a closer look at issues shaping our nations, the governance, and our collective future. I am Florence Ibhareman, and as always, it's a pleasure to have you join me on the platform every Tuesday like this, 11 a.m. up until the hour of 12. On the program, we discuss matters that affect the governance and policy makers, but every member of society. welcome to another amazing edition of Political Perspective on your darling station, iPower 102.7 FM. And as always, today we have an in-house analyst in the house who would help do justice to the matter as regards security in our today society as far as Nigeria is concerned. You would agree with me that one of the pressing issues dominating our world today is the matter of security. Across different parts of the country, many Nigerians are increasingly concerned about the safety of lives and properties, from communities struggling with crimes to farmers being worried about their farmland to business owners affected by instability. Now, the question on many people's mind is the same. Are we doing enough to guarantee security for everyone? Now, looking at security as a foundation of any stable, progressive society, without safety, economic growth becomes difficult, investment declines, education, and of course, the lives of ordinary Nigerians is always in constant fear. So, it is therefore the responsibility of every government to ensure that the people are safe and the people they serve can live, work, and move about freely without fear of their lives. However, the challenge of insecurity is complex. It evolves and it involves the role of government, the effectiveness of security agencies, the cooperation of communities, and even the responsibilities of citizens to remain vigilant and supportive to efforts aimed at maintaining peace and order. So today on Political Perspective, we'll be examining the topic security in Nigeria. Are we doing enough to protect lives and properties? Yes, we will look at the issue of security, the current security situation, the challenges facing security agencies, and the role of government policies and what can be done to strengthening safety across the country. Now, with that, I will introduce our in-house analyst on the program this morning to talk about security matters as it affects the ordinary persons in our society today. Good morning, Akia Debayo.
Good morning, and thanks for having me on the program today.
Yes, I hope you are prepared to talk about security as it affects us as a whole.
Well, I think everybody should be prepared to talk about security because this is a national issue and it affects every person, everybody.
Okay, now talking about security, I think we should start from the point of are we doing enough when it comes to looking at the current security concern in Nigeria? What do you think should be the major focus?
Thank you very, very much. I think the issue of security did not just start maybe a year or 2 years ago, thereabout. And the issue of security is a concern to every person. Now, I think the issue of insecurity, of course, to a large extent, has brought about untold hardship, has brought about destabilization in the economy, in the system, has disintegrated so many units of the family settings. The issue of security is something that, as a matter of fact, should be handled with all manner of seriousness. So asking me, maybe the government has done enough in about the issue of security in Nigeria. Personally, I would say that they have not done enough. They still need to do more. Because as the Yorubas would say in Yoruba parlance, that by saying not that is basically that as you are trying to check the activities, they are equally doing more, as in those non-state actors. So the issue of insecurity is something that should be a concern, not just with government alone, but everybody, of course. But the government needs to lead the charge. The government, right from the federal government to the federating unit, that is the state, and to the local government, before we citizens can begin to think of how we can equally help the government about the issue of securing the country, securing our state, securing our local government, securing our various communities. So the issue of insecurity is an issue that borders on every person. It's the responsibility of every person. So far you are a Nigerian, so far, for instance, you are in Ondo State, so far you are in any particular local government at that point in time. So issue of insecurity is something that we all must take with utmost seriousness and concern. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much. Now, looking at the importance of government's responsibility when it comes to protecting life, what do you think is a major responsibility of the government when it comes to protecting its members?
As enshrined in the Constitution, the safety of life and property is basically the responsibility of the government, that to protect our lives and property. And that is why, for instance, at the national level, the president, for instance, is the GCFR, that is Commander-in-Chief of the Armed Forces. Do you understand? Is the Commander-in-Chief of the Armed Forces. That is to say that everybody knows the importance of the presidency when it borders down on security. So I think it starts from the presidency as a whole, making sure that the country is safe, making sure that the country is secure for our citizens, foreigners, investors. Children can go to school. Mother can go to their marketplaces. Father can go to farm. So that everybody can be secure, so that things can flow the way it should be. Now, regarding the issue of maybe the role of the government, of course, like I said, it is the responsibility. But unfortunately, in the Nigerian system, it appears, not even it appears, is what is obtainable now, not if recently that the present government is trying to introduce state policing. You see, it becomes an issue of serious concern when the entire security architecture is being controlled from the federating unit. It gives serious concern. In the cases whereby the president is the one that, should I say, that is the sole coordinator of the security architecture. For instance, the Nigerian Army, the Nigerian Air Force, the Nigerian Navy, even the Nigerian Police, they are all being controlled from one unit, and we shouldn't be. Now, by the time you take, for instance, which simply means that even states here, they cannot. There's a limit to what they can do security-wise, and that is why the introduction of state policing is being introduced into the system. At times when I begin to discuss this issue of insecurity, something keeps on coming to my mind, and I will continue to emphasize on the issue of America, where we went to adopt that presidential system of government. Anything that makes us to go to adopt American system of government, you should only adopt their federal character, their federalism. That is, every federation unit should have their own security architecture. Take for instance, in US, you have the Los Angeles Police Department, that is LAPD. You have the NYPD, New York Police Department, and stuff like that. But in Nigeria, there's nothing like that. And that is why till tomorrow, personally, I will continue to commend the effort of late Arakuni Akedolu. I think, if I'm not mistaken, he happened to be the first governor in Nigeria that, first of all, took the bull by the horn by introducing a state-owned security architecture in the term of Amotekun. We all knew what he passed through before Amotekun could come to bear. And even as we speak till date now, Amotekun is facing some challenges. But to a large extent, at least, Amotekun has better and has come to stay. The question is this: what are other governors doing as well regarding the issue of this insecurity? Because it is taking a terrible toll on virtually every sector of the country, virtually every member, every citizen of this country. And the question is this: is this how we will sit down, look? Is this how we continue folding our hands and watch things go down? The drain just like that? No. So the president, as a matter of fact, like recently now, I love his moves recently when he actually told National Assembly that they should estimate a legislation that will bring about state policing, because security is local. We shouldn't deceive ourselves. Like I've always said, how do you expect somebody that is brought from the north to come and start doing police work in the south to be able to know what's going on? It is practically impossible. Number one, you don't know the terrain. Number two, you don't understand their language. Number three, you can't even speak it. How can you really be able to gather intelligence? And security is a matter of intelligence gathering. Not until we start carrying hammer, carrying this. No. It's intelligence gathering. Like something happened. Do you know that when Nigeria was categorized as a country of particular concern, and when eventually, as I was December 31st or thereabout, the case may be, or December period during the 26, when America struck, during America went to strike at Sokoto, a particular place in Sokoto. And we all know that for a very long time now, we've not had a single maybe attack or whatever in Sokoto. But how were they able to gather the information that, of course, these people, after they must have done their nefarious activities in other neighboring and northern states, they will now come back to Sokoto to share the booty. Do you understand? That was how that's what I'm talking about in intelligence gathering. So for the American government to have come all from the United States and strike in the heart of Sokoto, it speaks volume that they have been able to do due diligence in their intelligence gathering. But in Nigeria, are we gathering this intelligence as expected? The answer is no. And that is why till tomorrow we keep on hearing about insecurity here and there, kidnapping in all forms, asking for ransom, planting of IED, improvised explosive devices, and stuff like that. Simply because we are not gathering enough information as expected. So I think, like I've always said, security is local. So the government actually needs to do more. And thank God, like I said the other time, that at least for the first time, they are pushing it for legislation whereby state government can own their own security architecture. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much. For those just joining, the program is the program is Political Perspective on your darling station iPower 102.7 FM. And with me in the house this beautiful morning is Akin Adebayo. For those asking, is Akin Adebayo, and we're talking on insecurity. Are we really doing enough as a nation? Are we doing enough? Now, if you are to assess the current security situation in Nigeria, how would you assess it? Plus, if I to look at the major factor, what do you think is a major cause of insecurity, as in the rising cause of insecurity in Nigeria?
Thank you very, very much. You see, there are so many factors that have brought about this increase in insecurity in Nigeria. Now, there is internal issue, like there is external. Number one, if I'm not mistaken, this issue started when Muammar Gaddafi of Libya, then there was kind of this issue in Northern Africa, you understand, and it took a ripple effect even down to Libya, you understand. And since then, most of these non-state actors have not been looking for safe haven, where they can always gather and bring about exhibiting or executing their illicit act. Now, if you all know, this issue of insecurity started from the north during the era of is this Shehu or thereabout, when the Boko Haram started and stuff like that. Before then, there have been skeletal issues of insecurity around there. But of course, the northern part of Nigeria was a fertile ground for insecurity to actually be breeded. How do I mean? The level of education there is very, very low. Now, and the level of populations, if you look at the numbers of children, out of school children in northern Nigeria, you'll be amazed. It's alarming. And the very minute there's saying that goes dust and idle hand, is the devil's workshop. In the case whereby people don't go to school, they do not acquire any skills, there is no source of livelihood, all they do is give birth to them and send them to the street, start fending for themselves. These are preparatory ground for anybody to just infiltrate them and introduce anything to them that will bring about their daily meal. Before you say Jack Robinson, everybody will key into it. Before we came down to the studio, we all saw what was being published, what was being aired. From the studio there, about young children of 9, 10 already wearing uniform, carrying guns, AK-47 for that matter. President is acting as we speak, and these are the issues where how we are able to gather those children. It is because of those almajiris that are not being taken care of. So the northern Nigeria is a very good platform for any person that is having any ulterior motive to bring about instability in the country, to start orchestrating or perpetrating any issue that has to do with threatening the integrity of the country. Now, that is the level of population in northern Nigeria. I've heard about the level of population, level of out of school children, and the rate at which they are not even being taken care of. So it's a priority ground. Now, the external influence, of course, and poverty. You see, when a man is hungry, it becomes something else. You can sacrifice anything just to make sure that you are fair. And very many people, some of these nonsense actors sees all this, they predate on it, and before you know what is going on, they started recruiting these guys into all these militias. They started, using them for all manners of activities that begin to threaten the security of the country. Now, the other area is this. Very minute our borders are not, so porous. So porous in the sense that anybody can just come into the country through our borders. The very minute the borders are not well protected, then anybody can come in. That was why, and again, you see the role of leadership. That was why I was shocked when a particular governor from the northern Nigeria, in fact, if I'm not mistaken, Governor of Bauchi, I want to remember his name again. Governor of Bauchi said that any person that finds, any full animal that finds himself into Nigeria automatically becomes a Nigerian. And the question is this: is that how to just become a citizen of the country? If not for the fact that the border of our country is so porous, would we be saying all these things? No. But of course, the very minute the border is so porous, anybody can just come in at any time. So it gives room for anybody to just come in, thereby to start to penetrate into the system, try to influence those children that are not educated, those children that are not taken care of, those children that actually needs food, a means of survival. And the very minute you start introducing one or two things to them, I mean, as a means of livelihood, what do you expect? They have to cling to it. And again, religion. Now, instead of these people to go to school, no, rather they keep on whipping up all manner of religious sentiment. And via our religious leaders as well, it has really brought about the issue of insecurity. In a case where I begin to push or paint one religion as an infidel religion, and that your religion is the best. I mean, these are issues that have been breeding insecurity in northern Nigeria. And like I've earlier said, that is where it's actually, trickled down to certain parts. Of course, in certain parts of Nigeria, we have our own issues as well, but it's not as pronounced as what we are now experiencing. Like recently now, you now discover now that most of the, kidnapping and what that's going on in southern Nigeria is being done by some of southern as well. But the question is this: where did this start from? It all started from northern Nigeria, and as a matter of fact, since it was not taken care of, and again for political reasons, these are the issues. You see, most of these are political leaders in the bid of making sure that they win election by all means. They will go, they are ready to sacrifice anything. Anything, just to make sure that they were able to just win the election by all means. If I'm not mistaken, Jonathan said it then in 2015 that his election should not cost anybody his or her blood. And I can assure you, fortunately, could consider them to defeat. He must have been able to gather more than enough evidence of what was about to be melted out on Nigerian citizens if peradventure the then president did not win the election. These are information, these are intelligence that he must have gathered. And that was why, of course, if I'm not mistaken, if you could remember, the very minute Buhari was sworn in, Emefiele, now cooling off in yesterday detention, actually gave, I think, maybe 100 billion naira or thereabout to this militia. They go back to that. We learned that they were recruited to come to Nigeria and disturb the country. And now here they are now. Now, to the extent that it has not infiltrated to the southern part. How do we go about it? So what I'm trying to say in a nutshell is that the issue of insecurity did not just start. It's a matter of collaboration. People leverage on the population in the north. People leverage on the education of the youth there. People leverage on the level of alimajiri that I call it there. And of course, our politicians, for whom they are. Of course, they will always push the narrative that bring about you painting your opponent as a bad candidate, or as the case may be. And of course, our religious leaders, at times, and that was why I continue to commend the governor of Niger. He said, both maybe a Christian religious leader or a Muslim, that anything you want to preach on, maybe on Friday for the Juma service and on Sunday, that he must scrutinize it. Because he knows that this is where these informations are being spread, these negative narratives, that is where it's being spread. And of course, we've had this. Okay, take for instance, just recently, the war between Iran, the US, and Israel. Do you believe that a sheikh come on here and said that they should all this is a religious war, we should go to Iran and fight? Who said it's a religious war? People are power tussle between Iran, America, and the US. Somebody has not turned into a religious war. Is it a religious war or a power tussle between them? These are the things. So if very many people are misinformed, it becomes a serious problem to the entire system. So the issue of insecurity did not just start yesterday. No, it's as a result of build-up. And since there was no means of checking it, of course, what do you expect? And of course, you could remember, like I said, even foreigners are equally infiltrated the system. Do you realize that all those areas that you have been chased away from, at the end of the day, you will still find some Chinese persons there doing legal mining? The question is this: are those people, are they more indigenous than people that are chased away from there? No. You see, for economic reasons, again, these are the things. So many illegal mining is ongoing in northern Nigeria. Thank God, Adam Soshomole said it himself. That there are some generals that are equally involved. Is what you can Google and fact check yourself. And Adam Shomole, he worked in Kaduna, and I said that was a 8 years governor, and I said that he's a serving senator. So for him to access such thing, I can assure you, he must have been well armed with information. He said there are some generals that are actually sponsoring, because of their illegal mining, sponsoring banditry over there. And you must equally understand that this issue of insecurity, particularly from the north, that trickles down to the south, has about 3 different faces. Those people that are into illegal mining, that sponsor banditry, those people that are against, that are Boko Haram, that the Western election is not acceptable, and of course the religious area, and the what are they called? The Ijbas and what have you. I mean, these are the things. So there are so many factors surrounding the issue of insecurity in Nigeria. And like I've always said, it wouldn't have degenerated to this level if only the government then had been more proactive in making sure that they tread this insecurity.
Now, taking to the last statement you made, how effective is this current government, the government policy when it comes to addressing security threats?
Well, thank you very, very much. Well, I would say that the present government, to me, in my opinion, seems to be too political about it. Now, how do I mean? You see, like I've said the other time, our political leaders, their ambition at times is always at the expense of with their citizens. How do I mean? Now, this was a man that I remember vividly when we were first sworn into office as president. He made some moves. He made some wonderful moves. But all of a sudden, he just slowed down. Why? Because of maybe his second-term ambition. Because either we like it or not, majority of the population that vote still come from the north. And unfortunately, some of them are not seeing this insecurity as an issue. Rather, they are seeing the kind of religious witch hunt. You understand? These are the issues. But of course, there's nobody to a state. You see, like I said, if only the rate at which he started then, he had continued in that tempo, by now he would have resolved this issue of security to a large extent. But unfortunately, by the time you begin to nurse an ambition of probably being re-elected, that was what brought about this issue of him slowing down. Not that he doesn't know what is going on there. Of course he knows. He's the commander-in-chief. Report gets to him on daily basis. The security report and what have you, intelligence gets to him. So he knows what is going on there. But this issue of the second time is a major issue. Okay, and that's where the issue of politics comes in.
Okay, let's come down to the communities, because at the end of the day, the communities, the lay persons on the road are majorly those who gets the hits. Now, how can what role can communities play to improve their own security?
Thank you very, very much. So far, the community, no matter the role they put in place, to make sure that they enhance their own security. So far, even if they are caught, arrested, and taken to various maybe positions as the case may be, don't be surprised that before Jack Robinson, they'll be freed again. Now, how do I mean? It's because the very minute the various security architecture are not really serious about the issue of insecurity, then it becomes a problem. Of course, they will tell you that see something, say something. I've seen instances whereby the community will arrest some persons, some non-state actors, take them to the station, and for Jack Robinson, they are freed again. You will see lawyers appearing for them. And you see this police officer saying that, okay, they can be granted them, what's it called, bail. And these are serious issues. Must every person be granted bail because probably for one reason or the other? We've seen instances whereby there's a particular time. I was just in my apartment when these EFC guys just came, and they were like, and that's what they said. Maybe they're suspecting that maybe Yahoo. They came into my house. They couldn't say anything, and I said, go and check the other flats. Before they got there, and indeed there are some guys that were in that compound with us as well. They've run away. Do you know that those guys later came back to meet us and said it was a particular guy in the street that made that report? The question is this: how was that guy able to get the information that a particular guy on the street made the report? You see, the very minute the citizens are equally not so sure that if they should disseminate this information, that it will not be leaked, is another serious issue entirely. We've seen instances where army officers are equally being held in sabotage, in frustrating, giving information. We were in this country when the American government came and said, okay, they're going to put a kind of gas into that Sambisa forest. Then, do you believe that the discussion was held about maybe a day to that time? The following day, the jet went there to drop the gas that you just made these people to slip off. These people are already using dragger nose mask. The question is, how did they get that information? And how we are able to even be supplied those draggers? So which means that The very minute information begin to like leak information, you see, it's a heavy level of sabotage. So which means that even the citizens themselves, since they're not so sure that even if you divulge this information, won't it be used against them? It's another serious. So as a matter of fact, our various security architectures need to first and foremost build the confidence in the people that the very minute you give us any information, it will not be divulged, and another will it be used against you. We're in this country sometimes ago when they brought the issue of whistleblowing. I was so happy that whistleblowing and what have you. But you know that policy did not see the light of the day, because some people that actually blew the whistle, at the end of the day, they end up being detained. That they blew a wrong whistle. The very minute, what do you not expect? So these are the things. So there is kind of sabotage going on here and there. So the issue of the community, as a matter of fact, as you rightly said, they are the receiving end of this whole problem, and they are ready to give in their best. But the question now is this: no matter the level of best they try to give in, those information will they be used? One, secondly, won't it be used against them? Won't it be divulged? Won't there be a leak of information? So that's where the problem is. And why is it so? It still borders on the issue of, state policing. How do I mean? If, for instance, I'm just saying an instance anyway, a Yoruba man from this community is the one that is actually maybe heading a particular division or what have you, and maybe every other police officers there are equally from this same community and what, but let them stay in your local government, stay there. They know each other. Are you so sure that if an information is passed, that it won't, that you now to divulge it, that it won't go back to affect your own family? So they'll take it more serious because you are based there, you are not living there. So if you like, do your job the way you do it. If you like, don't do it. So you yourself and family might be at receiving them.
So community policing is not a viable solution.
It is a viable solution,
okay,
but not with this present structure. This present structure now still, still has to do with maybe a police officer from the east, from the west, and from the east coming down to. But by the time you have community policing, that the people that are actually employed in that community are aborigine, indigenous of that community.
Who knows the
nooks and crannies. So they can actually do well there compared to someone that came from the north or from the east. That doesn't mean anything. His family is not there. Maybe he's the only one that is there. So believe that. So anything goes. But the very minute your family members are there, maybe this family or extended family, and you know the implication of you not acting promptly, you never can tell. Your family might be the victim some other time. So they will take it more seriously. So that is why the issue of community policing is the way forward. And they should be well equipped so that they can gather more intelligence and information regarding any string movement or any string visitor in their community. So community policing is the way forward. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much. And the program is still Political Perspective on your darling station, iPower 102.7 FM. And of course, I have with me in the house Akin Adebayo. And we'll be talking about security and asking ourselves as Nigerians if we are indeed doing enough. We will go on a very short break. When we come back, we'll throw more light into security matters as regards Nigeria. Yes, glad to have you back. The program is still Political Perspective on your darling station IPower 102.7 FM. And of course, we have Akin Adebayo in the house this morning doing justice to the question concerning security in Nigeria. Are we really doing enough to protect lives and properties? And yes, going back to the question we asked before we went on that very short break. Now, when it comes to the role of communities, like I said, now looking at technology, can technology improve intelligence gathering and crime prevention?
Thank you very, very much. I'm obviously say with you, technology is the way forward. Technology is the way out. Like presently now, the issue of AI, artificial intelligence, has really helped so many countries when it comes to security and what have you. Now, when I talk about technology, it goes beyond AI, it goes beyond other things. What about the issue of the drone? What about the issue of maybe CCTV? I mean, planted here and there. These are viable ways of even securing your community, securing your space. You understand? So technology is indeed the way forward. It's the way out because the instrument these people use in kidnapping, in maiming, in disrupting, in disorganizing society and what have you, is through technology. I mean, all this AK-47 are not the technological based. You understand? These are the things. So technology that they use in attacking us, it also not used in attacking their back. Of course, intelligence gathering regarding maybe that's to do with maybe human. You understand? Knowing what is going on with your society and stuff like that. But when it comes to the issue of securing the society itself, it is technology. Now, for instance, do you know that a street that can decide today to have a CCTV camera? And let me tell you one thing, either that CCTV camera is functioning or not, the fact that it's there will go a long way in sending fear down the spine of any person that wants to engage in any criminal activities there. That is one. Secondly, like I've always said, we need a drone. You see, drones are in various aspects. Some could be harmed, some may not be harmed. Some will just be maybe just to monitor where those criminals are. We've seen some on TV and what have you. And from there, you now send information to the various security architecture that's been connected to it, and they'll swing into action. These are the things. But unfortunately, it seems that getting the drone for each state now is becoming hop tag, and we shouldn't be. Like I've always said, the money some of our governors spent in buying vehicles for this, buying vehicles for that, because if you are not secure, God forbid, even with that vehicle that being bought for them, it's going to be a serious problem. So I think security should be the first thing, and technology is the way forward. By the time technology is adopted in a various aspects of security, I can assure you that to a large extent, the issue of security will be checked. And unfortunately, we call it to be sincere. Take for instance, the phones that most of these non-state actors use in communicating, can't it be tracked? That is where the issue of sincerity comes in. So which means that no matter the level of technology we try to introduce into our various security architecture, the operators, are they being sincere? Okay, like take for instance, when the issue of maybe election and what have you, transmission of results at real time, blah blah blah, stuff like that, when it was being argued, the telcos, what's it called, the telecommunication company, they all came out and said, in Nigeria as it is now, the only coverage they don't have is not up to 10%. So which means that if they want to track anything there, it can be tracked. But unfortunately, do you know that as I speak now, it's so unfortunate that our various security architecture, they've not come out to say that, okay, they've been able to track this group of terrorists via their phones and what have you, to a particular section. And they are communicating. Can't it be tracked? But then that this same person now, if for example I steal your phone, if you now go to these various security, before you see that promising, I'll be tracked. Let me be anywhere. Can they use the same energy in tracking people that steal phone, in tracking those people that are actually kidnapping, in tracking these terrorists, in tracking these non-state actors? So no matter the level of technology we try to introduce, like I said, which is, as a matter of fact, is the way forward. But of course, our various handlers of this technology equally need to be sincere. The very minute there is no sincerity in all of this we are discussing, I can assure you, everything just be like a mirage. So as a matter of fact, sincerity comes first. Technology is very, very important, is the way forward, is the way by which we can actually go about in securing this country, securing this state, securing our various space. But sincerity is the most important thing. Did you know that even with the CCTV, you can be anywhere and be monitoring what is going on even in your own premises? Is that not technology? Of course, that is it, but that's the personal something. But we're not talking about securing maybe the state, securing the community and what have you. Then you can now know that it's good. Okay, take for instance, If, for instance, now maybe someone, maybe the CCTV there connected to the entire community, and maybe someone that is behind the CCTV happens to see maybe one of the operators that happens to be his family member, is he ready to actually say that I saw my cousin that is supported or is in group with those people that are actually terrorizing the community? Can he say it? So sincerity must come in first. Technology, no doubt, is the way forward, and it's the only way by which we can secure our various space. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much for that beautiful insight. Now let's go to solutions and recommendations. Because at the end of the day, we can't just keep pointing ants and showing the loopholes. We need to provide some solutions, recommendation like what we can do or how the government can do better. Now, what is the first practical steps the government should take immediately when it comes to the matters of insecurity?
Thank you very, very much. You see, no matter the kind of solution we try to provide, no matter what have you, the question is this: is the government sincere on their part to actually make sure that they secure their states or their country or their various space? Look, everything still borders down on sincerity. We provide a lot of solutions. We've said this. We've done a lot of analysis. But the question is this: are they willing? Like I said the other time, the time that from the President Bola Tinubu was sworn in as president, within that frame of 6 months and a year, no, I knew I can give you records of what he did then security-wise. But all of a sudden, the man just went cold. What led to it? And that is where the issue of you providing leadership despite your own ambition. You provide that leadership first. It just went cold. I remember somebody said that this man is running government as if he's not even ready to run for second time. So which means that they believe that, okay, you just have to play along in your first time and begin to implement your policy in second time. No. These are the things.
So does that really work?
No, of course, to a large extent. That is their own belief. But they've forgotten that that is completely immaterial. Is it not counterproductive now? Is it not counterproductive now? One thing you must know is this: the very minute people are secured, they can always go out there and make sure that maybe you are returned. So, in summary, we've analyzed the issue of intelligence gathering, we've analyzed the issue of technology, we've analyzed the issue of sincerity. But in all this, sincerity is the principal thing. Now, how do I mean? The very minute a government is being sincere in its pursuit of implementing any policy that will bring about security, that will bring about a boost in the economy, that will bring about the safety, that will bring about, a reasonable way of life for a citizen, the very minute you are not sincere with it, it becomes a problem. And your co-handlers, they know. When you are sincere, they know. When you are not, they call it no. Okay, take for instance, there was a time in this state that most of these non-state actors, whenever they hear the word Amotekun, they begin to skip out. They are so scared. But now, is this so again? So that's where the issue of leadership comes in again. We must be able to provide leadership. Like Aketi, God rest his soul. If we tell you that we go to the bush, we hunt you down, we shoot ourselves there, these are statements that, no doubt, emboldens these various security outfits, particularly the Amotekun. Even putting on their uniform alone, going to their parade and what have you, embolden them, it makes the morale to be very high. But are we seeing the same now? So these are the things. So in summary, we just need, particularly our leaders, they need to provide that leadership with all manner of sincerity from their own hand. It is when the citizens begin to see the sincerity on the part of the leader, that is when we, as citizens, we can confidently say that, okay, we can equally go and make some certain reports. But the very minute we are not saying that, it dampens the morale. So these are the things. So no matter the kind of solution we try to provide from our own ends here, I can assure you, it's impairing material compared to when the government themselves are actually resolute, determined, and they are so much concerned about bringing about how their citizens can live and go to bed with their to exploit, securing their various space. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much. Now, what is the role that we as citizens should actually do in supporting the security agencies?
Thank you.
What do we need to do as community members of a particular society?
Thank you very, very much. This is one of it that we are doing now.
Okay.
See, by the time we continue to emphasize on this issue, we are not calling them out, no, but we are just making our concerns known. Or take for instance now, like this Iluabo or Axis now, it's become virtually everyday routine. I see them protesting and what have you. The government have no choice now than to make sure that they attend to them. Ondo State in particular has been on the various media space now for the bad reason. I'm sorry to say that, for the bad reason. And I don't think there's hardly a week that you won't hear about one kidnapping or the other. And unfortunately, by the time governments will now say that there are some unscrupulous elements. So some people are just trying to make it ungovernable. Let them arrest those people and let us see them. And if you're saying that some people, then make your due diligence, make investigations, make arrests. Let us see these people. Let us see people that are actually tormenting us. If you say that some people are deliberately creating that state of unrest in that axis. Okay, take for instance, what happened in December 24th, 31st or thereabout, New Year Eve, in the Pele. Do you know that till now, we are even yet to understand what is really going on concerning that matter? Some people said it was a terrorist attack. Some said it was people that are actually involved in weed selling, this is of a thing. Which one do we now, take to be sincere of all this information filtering in here and there? These are the issues. So as a matter of fact, what we are doing from our own end here is one of it. Now those people that are calling protesting, that is our best they think they can actually make the government to know that look here, we are not secure. And the people that is putting up any kind of writing, maybe writing articles and what have you, that is their home as well. And if maybe reporting to maybe some vigilantes in your areas, reporting to some police officers that you know that okay, this person, even despite all these things, we still have some people, despite the fact that we have saboteurs in all these various security formations, some people are still being sincere. It's just a matter of you identifying those that you think are sincere. Do you know that in those states, a particular prison something that they release another to go and maybe get involved and they will return back to the prison cell. But a particular officer took it upon himself to investigate the matter, and it brought to a logical conclusion. In terms of the police officer doing a human job there. So even despite the fact that we have bad eggs amongst them, there are still very good and wonderful ones among them. But of course, we as citizens, we are doing our own here from our own space. Others are doing their own from their own various space. So everybody should play his or her role, because we all are pursuing one goal. And what is it? That the place, our society, our various space should be secured for us to be at peace with ourselves. So when you see something, like people always say, you say something. That's no matter that thing may be very small, but you say it first. But the security of it must start from our various communities first. If you see any strange movement, make sure you make report. So even community needs to come together and make sure that they have their own security. Maybe like some people will not normally do it. Maybe every night, landlord will come out. They know they are kind of rotational. Some people will come out today, some will come out tomorrow and stuff like that. So if we continue in this tempo, I can assure you, all these things will no doubt get to the people in government, and they will now know that okay, the press committee, I call it, trying, and they will now contribute their own quota in making sure that our various space is secure. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much. So with your summit now, how can collaboration improve safety across the country?
Of course, collaboration is the way forward.
Okay.
Like I said, from the citizens to the government, and also to every person that is actually involved. Of course, the collaboration is the way forward. And of course, the most important collaboration now is that I just pray that the federal government is able to introduce state policing. That's where you now see the full collaboration. Because then, if you are an Igbo person, you can conveniently walk up to your state formation and speak Igbo. So you don't need English to write statement. You can write it in Igbo and then you understand. If you're a Yoruba person, you say the same thing. We know ourselves. We know ourselves. Security is local. By the time you make security local, you will be amazed at the level of cooperation. Because, like I said, if I were to be a security, if I were to be a police, maybe Ondo State Police Department, that is Ondo State Police Department, OSPD, for instance, Ondo State Police Department, and maybe I'm a DPO of maybe a particular division there. I'm a Yoruba man, I'm from that community, I'm from that area, and you may come to make report. I will know that because my family members are equally there. If my immediate family are not there, I know that for sure my family members are there. That if anything happens to that person, it trickles back to me. So I will take it more seriously. That is, you see, not until we have this state policing, that is when we can have a full collaboration. I'm telling you, like for instance now, the president is giving a kind of warning that okay, like the IGP is saying that they're putting in place. That's why I want to commend him. I just pray and the IGP person of Tunji Disu is able to achieve it. He said they are set up a committee to look into the formation of state policing. It's a very good one if only that is what it can achieve. And I can assure you, you will be amazed at the result if that policy actually sees the light of the day, if state policy actually come to bear, you'll be amazed at the result. Because then people will know this is my person. Let me go and make reports. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much. And of course, our in-house analyst has done justice to the matters regarding security in our today's society and of course in the country. And I would want to say thank you very much for coming on board today, and of course for the insight and your decision or your take as regards security when it comes to federal matters, state matters, and even local matters. So I want to say thank you very much for coming on board. And I believe, as always, if I call upon you again, Akin, you would always, indulge me and make it a date on the program.
I sure did.
Thank you very much.
Thank you very much.
Yes, the program is still Political Perspective on your darling station, our power 102.7 FM. And that was Akin Adebayo talking about security matters. And like we always say, security is not only the responsibility of government and security agencies, it's a collective responsibility. A safer society requires cooperation, vigilance, and accountability from everybody. Yes, as we come to an end and a wrap of today's edition of Political Perspective, it is clear that security remains one of the most important challenges facing our today national society. A peaceful and secure society is a foundation upon which development, prosperity, and national unity are built. When people feel safe in their homes, in their communities, and in their workplace, they are able to contribute meaningfully to the growth of the nation. While government and security agencies carry primary responsibility of protecting lives and property, security is a collective effort. Communities must remain vigilant. People should act in cooperation with lawmakers and law enforcement agencies, and leaders must continue to strengthen policies and make plans to promote peace and stability. Yes, I want to sincerely appreciate everybody for coming on board, and of course to our guests for actually talking and throwing us more light on the issue as regards security. And of course, until we come your way again, same time, same station, iPower 102.7 FM, we implore you as members of the state and of course the nation as regards Nigeria to please stay security alert. Always, when you notice an inconsistency in your environment, don't keep mute, because at the end of the day, security is not just the job of the government, it's not a job of just the security agencies, but it's a collective responsibility. So we all must work together to achieve the security we so aim for.